Lord Coe, guests, ladies and gentlemen, students. It gives me great pleasure to welcome Seb and Carol Coe to the Endowed Schools to open formally the new sports centre. In what is a very busy schedule, it is very kind of you to find time to join us today. Seb Coe requires little introduction, and his career has been varied and hugely successful. He was first a renowned athlete, winning 4 Olympic medals at 2 Olympics and holding 8 outdoor world records in middle distance running. He was then elected a Member of Parliament and later became a life peer. Most recently, he headed the successful bid to host this summer's Olympic and Paralympic Games in London, and he was chairman of the organising committee. Earlier this year, he was appointed chairman of the British Olympic Committee. All he touches seems to turn to gold. All of us here today were enthralled by the London Games, and we'd like to thank you for your remarkable efforts. Thank you. Before I ask Seb to speak to us and to open the building formally, I wish to express my gratitude to some of the many people who made this building possible. First to Stuart Burns, the former head of Stamford School, who had the vision for this building. Then to the school's governors, who embraced his idea and turned it into reality. Next to the architects, GSS, who designed this striking and functional building, and the consultants, Building Services Design, Waldeck Associates, and Jim Gordon Associates. Next, our thanks go to McIntyre Hudson, Barclays, and Greenwoods, who put the funding in place. Particular thanks must go to Clugston Construction as the main contractor, as well as to the subcontractors, notably Buckingham Pools and T. Clark East. Our thanks go to the great many individuals who work for these organisations who have produced this remarkable facility. And finally, may I thank the staff and former staff here at Stamford for their work in delivering this wonderful building, which is enhancing the education of and providing greater sporting opportunities for the students of the Endowed Schools. I'd now like to hand over to Seb to say a few words and to open this building formally.
Mr. Roberts, thank you very, very much for your warm words of welcome. Chairman of Governors, distinguished guests, can I first of all thank you very, very much for the invitation to be here. I know that being invited to a school is a bit like being invited into a family, and I'm deeply flattered and very honoured that you have asked me here today to open your magnificent sports centre. As I am now on my way from here to the British Olympic Association ball tonight, it would be remiss of me not to also mention the place that Stamford as a town has in the history of Olympic sport in this country. I'm acutely conscious that having been elected as the chair of the British Olympic Association only 9 or 10 weeks ago now, slightly less than that, that of course one of my predecessors, Lord Burleigh, not only chaired that organisation through thick and thin for many years, he also, as a predecessor, was involved in the choreography of the 1948 Games. So I was delighted to be able to donate my torch, which so spectacularly passed through this town in July, literally just a few weeks before the opening ceremony of the Games, to Burleigh House, where it sits alongside Lord Burleigh, David Exeter's torch from 1948. I'm also delighted to be here today, and I do mean this very personally. I'm delighted to be here today, clearly at a school that values sport, a school that doesn't just tuck sport away in the margins of the curriculum. All of you standing out there in front of me are the living testimony to how seriously sport is taken in this school. And if I may digress just for a moment, that with CCF in such large numbers, it does remind me of being back on the Olympic Park 4 weeks ago with the Herculean effort that our military services did, stepping up to the plate relatively late in the project, but with such professionalism and with such humour. I'm also acutely conscious that this school has been a signpost, in a way, for British sport for many, many years. Some of your alumni are now household names, particularly, of course, somebody who slightly younger than me, but also in the British athletics team, Ewan Thomas. Mark James, a well-known and very famous golfer. And it would be remiss of me and probably start a family argument if I didn't also acknowledge the presence of MJK Smith here, who was, of course, a former England cricket captain and one of those rare breeds that played cricket for both England and rugby. But this is not, of course, just simply about a romp down memory lane. I also know that recently your club teams here have been hugely successful. Your under-18 girls team, I know, has won the national or independent schools national league. Your hockey champions at county level. I just met a group of mad people who claim that they're going to become triathletes. All triathletes are completely mad, you should know that. I'm delighted that a club has just been set up to do that. And of course, whether it is your august history or the ability to present teams performing at the highest level currently, you need infrastructure. And I guess that brings my words to a neat and gentle conclusion today. Let me thank everybody that has been involved with the construction of this magnificent site. I know over the last 7 years that I probably now know more about ducting, tunnelling and bricklaying than I do about anaerobic thresholds and 800-metre running. I know that none of this happens because it's the management of it'll be all right on the night, or that there are any happy accidents. This, like the Games, will have been predicated on fantastic local partnerships, the generosity of many, many people who will have given many, many hours over many, many years to get this to the shape that it is today. And I really do genuinely hope that from the pools and the gymnastics hall and all the other facilities I've seen here, that there will be Olympians and Paralympians coming out of this facility and performing with distinction for this country in years to come. And if you are, then it will make my job as chairman of the British Olympic Association that much more easy. It is barely credible that we are 7 weeks past the most extraordinary summer of sport that any of us have ever witnessed, and if I'm being honest, probably any of us will ever witness again. I'm delighted that the values of the Games, the inspiration that they have produced in so many young people, not just to take up sport, to take up many other activities. We had a cultural Olympiad, we had a festival 2012, 15 million people came out onto the streets to welcome the torch relay as it came through towns like Stamford, to celebrate the extraordinary achievements, not just of Olympians or the Olympic movement, but local people who had made seismic contributions to their local community. So I got asked at the end of the Games whether I was sad that the Games were over, and in a way I guess we all were. But I'm also very excited because I genuinely think the best part of the story is still to be told. And the best part of the story, if I'm being honest, is standing out there in front of me. It's your responsibility now to build on everything that you witnessed and you took part in over the summer and over the previous 10 years, whether you're coaches, whether you're young athletes, whether you're people that are mentoring or working in local communities. I now hand the baton over to you. The organising committee disappears literally within a few weeks. But I know that we're in good shape because the platform that was created this summer and the extraordinary work that is done in schools the length and breadth of this country, and the challenge that lies ahead to make sure that the legacy is tangible and relevant to local people and to young people particularly, I know is in very safe hands. So thank you very much for inviting me here today. Enjoy this facility, use it, make sure that local people know that it exists, and above all, follow your dreams, because that's what 3 of us did 10 years ago, sitting in a pub in West London, and then ending up with an organising committee of 8,500 people. And dreams do occasionally happen. Make them happen in your lives. Use this facility and be very grateful for the work and the voluntary effort that has gone into this extraordinary facility, and to many of them standing on this platform, I thank you and salute you for helping promote the real values of British sport. It gives me very great pleasure now to open this extraordinary sports facility.
Thank you very much for your words and for opening the new sports centre for us in Memorial Pool, Lord Coe. It really is a very great honour for me to speak on the same platform as you. And having spent a little time with Seb this afternoon, having done my research thoroughly, and having listened to and read his words, it is clear to me that his values are the same now as they have always been, whether as an athlete, a politician, or as the leader of our leader and visionary of our epic Olympic experience this summer, including the opportunity for lasting legacy, not just in sport, but for the regeneration of an entire area. Those Olympics are something I know we will remember for a long, long time, and are a shining example against the cynicality and the easy option that can sometimes pervade our society. We have all been honoured to have you here on such a special day for us, and our Olympic Legacy Week throughout all of the schools has certainly fired our enthusiasm, like you say, to make a lasting and ongoing tribute to that wonderful summer. Thank you indeed. I would also like to thank MJK Smith, OS, and father-in-law for helping to arrange the visit. But thank you too very much, Seb and Carol, for taking the time to visit us here. Good luck in your new role as well. Our head boys, Freddie Babs and Mark Burns, and our head girls, Louise Thompson and Rosie Harvey, would like to present you and Carol with a token of our appreciation.
Thank you very much.
We are extremely lucky to have such an honoured guest with us today to open our sports centre. It seems appropriate to ask everyone at the Stamford Endowed Schools to give 3 cheers for Lord and Lady Coe. Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip!